commission to order. Please rise for the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approval of the minutes of February 5th, 2024.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for February 5th, 2024.
Commissioner Pierce,
I'll second.
Commissioner Hatch. Any discussion? If not, all say aye for approval. We're ready. Motion carries. Tongue twisted here. I'm sorry. Okay. That's all, folks. Okay, awards and proclamations. I have nothing. Public meetings, nothing on the agenda. Nothing for bid openings. Visitors and delegations, and we have Brandon from the Devil's Lake Rodeo Club. Please come forward, identify yourself for the media, please.
I'm Brandon Padilla, president of the Devil's Lake Rodeo Club, and I guess I'm just kind of here tonight to give you guys an update of where we're at, how last year went. First, I'd like to say thanks for you guys' support of bringing that event back to the community. It's been a really well-perceived event, both by the local community and the surrounding areas, and the rodeo community really enjoys having that event back. Last year was good. We made some money again, so that was nice to see. We were able to donate money to the Peterson or the Ramsey County Fair Board for their building. And later this week, we'll be bringing a check to the Ramsey County 4-H and just to give them a little extra support for their clubs and everything they do. With that, we also were able to have a few different groups help out at the rodeo this year. Local groups, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, Cub Scouts, the Devil's Lake Dazzlers, they all came in and did some work for us in return for donations to their organizations. So we're just kind of getting planning going for this year, starting to go out and get some advertising and getting plans locked in place. The dates for this year, September 6th, 7th, and 8th. We don't have any times set for those days, but I imagine they wouldn't be too far off from what they've been. So if there's any questions for me, I'd gladly listen.
Will they ever host the event out at the new arena if that gets completed, or that?
It kind of depends on what the building looks like, I guess, after it's all said and done. If it can seat more than about 1,500 people, then it would be something for us to look into, because I mean, we'd be able to reduce the cost there quite a bit if we moved it out there. But I haven't seen what their seating capacities are going to be and what their capacity is going to be by the time we were to put a rodeo arena in there.
That's why I asked them what they were going to do for seating the last time they were here. They said there were going to be those bleachers that go in, because that was my thought process.
Yeah, to make economic sense, it's got to seat at least 1,500 people. Otherwise, we'd be going backwards on that part of it, and that's where most of our money is brought in.
All right, just curious.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's definitely something to look into once I think there's more of a final plan. We can actually be in the building to see what it's going to look like.
That's the only question I had.
Okay. Are you here requesting funding or not yet at this time? Or?
Well, I guess I didn't have plans on it. I guess if I could, if the commission wanted to, that way it's.
You were
I can.
What was it last year?
It was 15. It was 15 last year. Budgeted 15 this year. I would
Yep.
suspect that you'll closer to the rodeo.
Yeah,
you
we'll
guys
be
will back
coming.
here.
Yeah, we'll be coming back probably. I would suspect the end of May sometime.
So you'll
but-
put a formal request in?
Yeah,
maybe
I
about that
can.
time
I
we
can
can
do that.
Okay.
So it was budgeted for.
Correct.
Yep.
Awesome.
Okay. That's nice to know that you're probably going to get it.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. No, it definitely helps making some. We have made the decision to up our added money to the event for the contestants to win, just to try and bring some more rough stock contestants in. it's a statewide problem trying to get rough stock contestants or bull riders and saddle bronc riders.
Well,
and
there's
bareback
anybody in
riders.
their right mind would not want to do that.
It's getting to that point. So we're trying to add a little bit of money to the event. Last year we paid out a little over $50,000 back to contestants.
Cool.
So that's
Is it going to be aired on that TV channel? The internet
so
channel?
last year we were supposed to be aired on Beck TV on the Saturday night performance. Due to some technical difficulties, I don't know on whose end that was. That did not happen, and I was not aware of that until the week following the event.
So weren't they going to do it on that other?
The Darn TV.
Yeah.
So I would like to go back to him. But he is big into racing, and his son is at the age now where he's traveling for racing, and there's a big racing event out in Idaho that same weekend that his son participates in. So, and he's just pretty much a two-man show, and it takes both of them to be either at a race, and it takes two or more people at the rodeo. So we're still trying to work on some
I thought
logistics.
that cowboy thing was, what was the name of that?
Dakota Cowboy on Beck TV.
That was on back then?
Yeah,
Dakota
that was
Cowboy?
on.
Okay.
Yep, that was on Beck TV, and that's still a show. They lost the host who was here the first year we had the rodeo and put us on the show. He stepped down. They have a different host now, but the program's still going.
Okay.
So
I didn't know they
yeah,
were
there's
one and the
still
same.
the TV stuff. It'd be nice to be on TV for the people that can't make it or just want to watch a rodeo, but there's some logistics on that we're trying to get figured out still.
Well, I appreciate what you do for the community, and I know what it's all about, all the hard work, so
Yeah,
why you're
it's-
starting early.
Yeah, no, it was kind of nice being in our third year now. We were able to kind of actually take a couple months off before we started back up. I won't say we have it figured out, but we have a better idea of what things look like. So
Your crew stays the same each year now for a while, so that's a good
yeah,
thing.
no, we've been really fortunate. We haven't lost any members of the rodeo club. We've only gained, and we're sitting at about 20 to 22 people, I think the last time I looked.
Perfect.
So
Wonderful. Anybody have any other questions?
No.
Well, I appreciate the update, Brandon, and good luck. And
Right.
the next time she comes, she can run the meeting.
sounds good. I'll talk her into it.
Okay.
All
I
right.
figured you would.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you
Appreciate it.
for what you do. Okay, commission portfolios, Commissioner Hatch.
Mike, anything from sanitation?
Nothing for sanitation.
Okay, Ralph's gone tonight, so
We're short and quick.
short and quick.
Commissioner Robbins.
Anything in streets,
Nothing tonight, Commissioner.
engineering?
Nothing that isn't on the agenda.
Amen. All right.
You're gonna want me back, right, Mayor?
Hey, it's working. Commissioner Pierce.
You've been.
Yep, so under the fire department, I emailed all the commissioners and Spencer earlier today. We got our year-end report done. We had 330 calls this past year. There's a breakdown in there, the different calls that we respond to. The guys collectively logged over 1,900 hours of training in-house. And then we had 16 pro board certifications, which is kind of what the fire department in North Dakota is, or fire departments in North Dakota are going to. And that's an additional probably 40 hours per course. So that's another 640 additional hours on top of the 1,900 that they already logged. And then we got just over 350 inspections done out of the 700 and some possible. So we're making some headway there.
Is the goal to get all 700 done annually?
Annually, no.
Okay.
We'd never be able to get them all done annually, but there are some occupancy classifications that we want to hit every year. So the assemblies, bars, stuff like that we're going to try and get into a little more frequently. That way we can keep on top of things. Moving on from the year-end report, we got one guy going to State Fire School as an instructor, and then 4 guys attending classes at the North Dakota Fire Conference this weekend. So fireworks, I did email J&M Displays to start that whole process for the 4th of July fireworks show, and then Shiver Fest. It's looking good as far as our little fishing tournament for the youth. So, yep, that's what I have.
All right, Mayor, members of the commission here, just to give you an update. The chief was tasked with giving just basically an assessment of what it would cost and what would have to be done to take over the ARF mission. We're looking at getting that in front of you all, not this next meeting, but the second meeting. I have letters that I'll be sending out, but that some of that stuff might change because they're looking at a couple different options and avenues to go for shift wise to look to maybe save a little more money and things of that nature. So it's being talked about, just so you know, he's doing his best to get everything good to go.
I know that our thing has been an issue for quite some time.
Yeah, but it is actively being looked at by the chief. He's been keeping me updated on everything. And I'll be meeting with all the commissioners individually and you and yourself.
Okay.
I told the mayor about this, but I was contacted by Assistant Chief Corey Meyer, who's head of the Shade Tree Committee. So the email that I was sent that said they received an official award notification for America the Beautiful grant in the amount of $14,520 for a tree canopy survey. It's a 1-to-1 match, but they said they have most of that covered with in-kind costs. So that was done and put through for the grant by Tammy and Lindsay. Great job for them to do that. So we should start seeing some movement on getting our tree canopy done. So
Were
we
they
can look at
anticipating putting that, the tree canopy?
Oh, what they mean by that is we have to go through and identify all of the trees on a computer.
Okay, like.
Yep, and find and identifying for that.
The goal is to identify all of the ash trees that we have.
Ash trees, that's it.
And
Yep.
so it's a tree inventory. Lake Region State College also has received like a statewide education grant. And so
Sure.
we actually have a phone call tomorrow morning to coordinate with the college to make sure that we're all aligned and we're working collaboratively. We're not duplicating things. And part of that will be us helping in kind with them helping in kind with us. And we should be able to effectively go about that grant. And at the end of the day, we want to get that tree canopy study, which then can inform, hey, where are ash trees and where can we target future shade tree efforts to get ahead of what will be impending death of our ash trees, most likely. So, and we want to make sure that we're being proactive instead of reactive.
And for those of you that have never seen it, this computer program, it'll be online where you can go in and look and see exactly where every single type of tree is located within the city. So in case something does happen later on, like the Dutch elm thing, if something else happens, we'll know exactly where those trees are located and it'll be accessed easily. So we can, like you said, avoid any future problems. I will not be attending the next meeting, city commission meeting. We have a presidential caucus that will be going on in Devils Lake that I have been tasked to organize and run.
Just an FYI, I won't either.
Oh,
I
boy.
have a presidential caucus in Cancun that I will be organizing.
Wait a minute.
So just an FYI.
Priorities, you guys.
I believe me, this is something it's been a pain in the butt for me, but it's something that has to get done and came down from RNC and everything else. But anyway, yes, I'll be there doing that. Other than that, Mayor, pending any questions, that's all I have for you.
Well, thank you. Any questions for the commissioner? No. Okay, if not, Commissioner Hammer's portfolio, Mike?
One thing under the water utility, if you go to the city website, Devin's been working hard at putting out information for our lead service line inventory. And so if residents go on to dblnd.com, there's many links there talking about our lead service line inventory. Two things going on with that. One, we're asking residents to provide us information related to their water service line material. They can do that online. Very simple, take a picture of it. Then we'll know what their water service line material is. Or if they just want to call City Hall, 662-7600 extension 2, talk to the engineering department, and we'll log it for them if they take the picture or look at the water service line. information.
I looked on there, right? It has also on there, if it's already been identified, they can go and see whether they actually have to identify it.
Correct. So in some cases in town, in your particular area, we completed a water main replacement. And when we were completing that water main replacement, we identified what we connected to on your side of the curb stop. Even at that, if somebody wants to call in and say, yes, it is copper inside my
Okay.
house, it is plastic inside my house, then we'll have two spots of inventory, one at the curb stop, one.
That's the
inside
reason I was
house.
asking. I didn't want people to look at it and say it's already been identified and not actually take the time to look at it. So,
We have encountered situations where it might be this material on your side of the curb stop and it's something different in the house. Whether the house was relocated, whether they used an old service line and tied onto it, relocated it, what have you. So the more information that we can get, the better. The important thing with the inventory is we're being directed to do the inventory, right? We have to think about that. So the federal government, EPA, is mandating all cities to do a water service line inventory. And this is part of that process. As far as our drinking water is concerned, whether you have a lead service line, a copper service line, or a plastic service line, the drinking water is safe coming out of any of those taps based on our water chemistry and what we're doing to the water to make sure that water coming out of lead service lines is safe. The goal through the inventory is to identify what the water service line material is in the different houses and businesses throughout town. And eventually there will be a process for replacing lead service lines. We don't know what exactly that's going to be. At this point, phase one is to identify the lead service lines. And that's the process that we're going through. And we really need the residents to help us with that. But the drinking water is very safe.
Sure.
All testing we've ever done, very good.
what can we tell people? Because I've had people ask me this: if the water's safe, then why is it so important to replace the lead lines? What would the pipes? I mean, so what would be something to tell them? If it's safe to drink, why do we have to do this? Why are we replacing?
In some cases, so with our chemistry and what we're doing, the testing that we do shows that there's very little lead. So we have a very good lead and copper control program. Some communities, their program isn't as good as ours, and you can run into issues.
Okay.
You could argue that it's a little bit of a knee-jerk reaction from the federal government for what happened in Flint, Michigan, right? They had a good program. They just changed their water source, and they didn't make other changes that they probably should have made. And they had a lot of telltale signs in the distribution system saying something isn't working right. But sometimes you don't connect all the dots until the picture's already made, and you're like, oh, we should have seen all of those dots connected. And so as part of that, what happened, now it's, okay, how can we make everything across the United States, one shoe has to fit all, how can we take necessary steps to make it safe everywhere?
Okay.
And so part of that is, let's identify where the lead service lines are, and now formulate a plan if we're going to replace them.
Thank you.
That's all I have, Commissioner.
Okay, thank you. Spencer.
Real quick update, our 2020 audit should be released here pretty soon. There's a 7-day window, new state law, 7-day window for elected officials to review it, ask any questions, provide comments or feedbacks. There will be just a couple of findings towards the end of 2021 and then to start 2022. Just a couple of material misstatements as it relates to like accounts payable and accounts receivable, when things were paid for, when the services were actually conducted. So that'll be a one finding, but should have that hopefully out to you guys, hopefully tomorrow or the day after. There's a 7-day window, and then we will be cleared to send it to Moody's. We need to send it to Moody's very promptly, otherwise that wouldn't spell well for our bond rating, but we're going to make the timeline. I have no reservations. I called on the timeline to confirm with Moody's. We should be okay. So, and then also update our 2022 audit and our 2023 audit are going to be conducted at the same time. We'll have 2 different reports, but we are going to run them concurrently as I kind of stressed to the state auditors, our 2024 audit needs to start on time. So the report is done in a normal cadence. So appreciate your patience with that, and more correspondence with you in the week ahead on that matter. And then last one would just be, appreciate, I think all four of you guys ended up attending the roundtable here today. So I really appreciate, especially on short notice, the engagement from the city commission as it relates to that matter. It means a lot, especially as we're coordinating with all the parties involved and the mayor's, leading on behalf of the community. And so to have you guys there meant a lot.
No, ditto, excuse me, I'll ditto that. I did appreciate that. That was great that you were able to be there for that. So, I forgot you, chief. I thought you were already gone.
No,
You weren't in uniform, so I didn't. I apologize. But anyway, chief, your last meeting, by the way.
yeah, no, that's
So I want to appreciate what you have done for the city of Devils Lake.
sure.
In all sincerity, I appreciate it. And I wish you the best on your next endeavor.
Appreciate it. Thank
All
you.
right.
So we had actually a resignation put in, John Michelson put in, so he'll be moving. So we have another opening, but we did fill a guy, got a guy from Bismarck that we hired. So we'll be bringing him in and it's now we're looking for another guy, so. Yeah, we're always kind of a revolving door, so, yeah, but thanks for the opportunity to serve the community and do those things, and I appreciated all the support that I got from the city council, and it really made my job easy, I guess. No, I appreciate it, thank you.
I appreciate all the trouble you got me in when I was sitting next to you
Yeah.
too, by the way.
They're watching Twins game.
Okay.
I do have one alibi for you, Mayor.
What's that?
Forgot to mention the Joint Powers Agreement. There was miscommunication between the lawyers on which version of Word was being used. So formatting was not the same across the board. So it didn't look the same or read the same or some kind of mess up with it.
Okay.
Now, as far as I've been told, everything has been agreed to, everything has been okayed. They're all going to get together and get one copy of it, send it out for approval from everybody. Once the three of them get together and say, this is the final copy. It's like pulling teeth sometimes, but that's where we're at on it.
Thanks for staying with it.
Been in contact with Commissioner Frith from the county, and he's right there with us. He wants to get it done and over with. So we're gonna keep plugging away at it.
Just a question, is the LEC attorney on retainer or billable hour? And I would ask that question. And I would, if it's the latter, I would recommend some tough questions be asked. That's all I would say.
Well, we have a meeting tomorrow,
Yes,
so we'll
That-
do it.
that's
make
all.
sure that's asked.
Okay, anything else that needs to come before portfolios? If not, we'll move into next item, and we have before us a letter from recommendation from Yonker Law Firm regarding the National Prescription Opiate Litigation Bankruptcy Updates. It comes with the recommendation to pass it.
Yeah.
Is there any questions of anybody?
Mayor Mo, members of the commission, this is, we're just seeking approval from the commission in regards to the endo settlement associated with the national opioid prescription litigation. Approval would signal our acceptance of the deal as it stands. Nashwaty Law Group, their recommendation is to approve. They're the ones that kind of represent our class in this big class action lawsuit. And city attorney reviewed and is recommending approval.
Just kind of rehash what this all entails for us, though. Just
Basically, we were set to, in relation to the overall settlement, the city was set to receive a very small amount. Because of the settlement, we'll receive
Okay.
even less of a smaller.
Yeah,
amount.
that's that. All right. Thank you.
Any further questions? If not, what's the wishes of the commission?
Motion to approve.
Commissioner Hatch?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Robbins. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion carries. Got it right this time. How about that? Okay. Consent agenda. Is there anything on the consent agenda? Nothing at this time. New business. First item is the approval of floodplain easement for Fewer. Mike, I would assume this is yours.
It's hard to believe we're still working on land acquisition for our flood protection project. We still are The agreement in front of you outlines the acquisition of a floodplain easement for an area just south of Quiet Acres. Includes a floodplain easement on 0.33 acres as outlined in the agreement. And we pay the landowner $4,800 for that easement. The easement will give us the temporary right to flood that third of an acre if we get a large rain event or a snow melt event. It's not permanent ponding. We will take care of that once the water is there. And that easement will be recorded. Everything is signed. Recommend approval of the agreement and the easement. I'll
We have a
answer any questions you have.
recommendation.
I'll make a motion to approve the recommendation of the floodplain easement with Barb Fear.
Okay,
Second.
second by Commissioner Pierce. Any further discussion?
So it is the agreement and the easement.
Agreement and the easement.
Okay, roll call.
Commissioner Hash.
Aye.
Commissioner Robbins.
Aye.
Commissioner Pierce.
Aye.
President Wall.
All right, motion carries.
I got all of them.
Second item, it's been a long day, right? Approval of a floodplain easement for Howitt. Right?
The agreement is very lengthy. It's very lengthy because it's gone on for a significant period of time. Dealt with a previous landowner. That property has since been acquired by the Howitts. Howitts have been very, very good to work with. And so much of the agreement as written is just really to help clear things up in our files and with the Corps. So everybody looking at how the acquisitions happened 20 years from now can look in the file and find out what did in fact happen. There is no money included with this agreement, but there is an exchange. So included within the agreement is Howitts are going to grant us a floodplain easement on the property that's identified in the easement, included with the agreement and the attachment. In exchange for that, the city would provide a deed to property that the city currently owns and acquired for floodplain purposes in an area over by Crafts Corral. So if you look at the map in the back, it shows you where that property is. That property exchange, the city providing deeds, so fee title to property over by Crafts Corral for a floodplain easement. That was included in a previous agreement that we had with the prior landowner. Since the Howitts acquired the property, we are working with them to complete that exchange. In this particular case, the agreement also spells out a small area of floodplain easement that we do need the Howitts want to fill. So they can place dirt in there, elevate the land above the floodplain elevation, and then it's no longer included in the floodplain. That's all been approved by the Corps. So with that, I recommend approval of the agreement and recommend approval of the floodplain easement as well as the property exchange. So the city would be exchanging property that the city owns for that floodplain easement that we have to acquire. There's a lot of pages there. We can go through every line item if you like, but that's the agreement in a nutshell.
Please.
The Mr. Gathman version of the agreement.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to
Commissioner,
approve the floodplain agreement, the land exchange, and the
Easement.
easement.
okay, Commissioner Robbins,
I'll second.
Commissioner Hatch. Any further discussion? Not, roll call?
Commissioner Hash.
Aye.
Commissioner Robbins.
Aye.
Commissioner Pierce.
Aye.
President Wall.
All right. Okay,
And for the commission's benefit, we won't exchange the property. Ms. Howitt is out of the country until we receive a signed easement. Then we will sign the deeds over for them for the property, and that's the exchange.
okay, item number 3, approval of public ways equipment.
Included in your packet is a memo outlining the equipment. Currently, the city owns 2 tool cats, and we exchange those tool cats on an annual basis through a municipal lease agreement with Ironhide Equipment. It allows us to keep the equipment new, have full warranty for those two toolcats. In visiting with the public waste supervisor, it seems like a better approach for us would be to get a skid steer rather than a toolcat. So we would make an exchange, one toolcat, we would trade that in and receive a skid steer in its place. The exchange is going to cost $6,714.39. One of the benefits of using Bobcat equipment in this particular case, because we had the toolcats, we ended up buying many pieces of attachments that work with those toolcats. They have this 7-pin, they call it a CAN bus technology. So there's certain, if you're simply using a pallet fork, it's one thing. If you're using a bucket, it's one thing. But there's a lot of higher tech attachments for grading and doing certain things that we have. And you can buy some pieces of equipment that help you communicate. So if you hook a cat skid steer up to some of the attachments that we have, you can try and make it work. It's just not very user friendly from everything that I've been told. And so what I ask is the city declare a sole source because of that CAN bus technology. And then we'll just trade our toolcat Bobcat in for a Bobcat skid steer that will communicate with our other equipment. And then we'll complete that on an annual roll. So we would continue to use the municipal program. In this particular case, it's not a lease because we own the equipment. We trade the equipment every year. They call it a lease, but it really isn't because we own the equipment. We trade it in, pay a little stipend, get a new piece of equipment through their municipal lease program. We know what that cost is going to be for that exchange when we get the equipment. So it's based on hours, whatever number of hours that we have on that equipment. If you have this many hours, this is what it's going to cost you. If you have this many hours, this is what it's going to cost you to make that exchange. Any questions with that?
No. What's the wishes of, your recommendation is to do this, okay?
As outlined in the memo.
That's all.
I'll make a motion to approve the trading in of the toolcat for the Bobcat and declaring a single, what source?
It's a sole source
Sole
for that
source.
technology.
Distributor.
Got a motion,
No second.
second by Commissioner Pierce. Any further discussion? If not, roll call.
Commissioner Hash.
Aye.
Commissioner Robbins.
Aye.
Commissioner Pierce.
Aye.
President Mo.
All right, motion carries. Item number 4, the approval of agreement for North Dakota Telephone Company crossing for flood protection.
Rod Hoffmeyer is here, and I just realized why you were here. I was wondering why you were at the meeting, and then I started looking at the agreement. Because we have the federal flood protection project that protects the city of Devils Lake and surrounding area, whenever there's any modifications or encroachments on that flood protection, it's required that we go through a process. It's a section 408, meaning we have to get a permit from the federal government that says that we're going to do something that could, that's going to potentially impact that flood protection. In this particular case, we have a request from the phone company. It seems very trivial. They want to put a fiber optic line up over the flood protection to provide service to a resident. So in essence, they're trenching in a 1-inch pipe. They're just going up over the flood protection. But in this particular case, because we have to go through the 408 process, we have an agreement that we've drafted with the phone company, very similar to other 408 requests that we've had in the past. So the city commission would approve that 408, and then we'll continue to work with the Corps to secure the permit for that section 408 review. Information has been provided to the Corps, a draft agreement, all the documents that I've worked with the phone company on. A draft request has been submitted. I'm waiting for their feedback. Once we receive their feedback, then we'll submit the formal application with that. It's a lengthy process when we do it, but it's fairly simple if you look at it from that perspective. But it takes a long time, so we're working through it.
Ron, do you want to speak to anything or? No?
TJ wrote it all up, but no, no, I think we've done it before too. We did it a couple years ago when we went out to Cove with the new cable and stuff. And there's a resident there that's been on service for the last
Good.
year or so. So we're anxious to try to get some service.
So you would like to motion to approve the moving forward?
Approve the agreement, and then we'll approve submission of the 408 request once we have everything worked out with the Corps.
I'll make a motion to approve the agreement with NDTC for the dike crossing.
Commissioner Robbins,
I'll second.
Commissioner Hatch. Any further discussion?
Is this going to cause any disruption to anything out there? Traffic, nothing?
The road that goes into you're gonna actually trench in the road that serves that one customer that we're gonna get service to, so a little bit, but it's just the one customer, so I'm assuming they'll put up with it so they can get service.
But that's the only access to that one customer. There's nobody else that's gonna,
No, that just goes out, there's a
that's all I wanted. Thank you.
Yeah, well, there is the access road to Pike Pier, the park located south of Walmart that uses this section of roadway, but I mean, it's fairly straightforward. It's going to be trenched in. It's going to be restored to.
The only place you have to trench is over the dike, it's the other part. They'll plow most of it, but the part that the requirement is to trench that 106 feet on each side from the center line of the dike, but that's the only place there'll probably be an open trench or anything like that.
Just want to make sure people are notified if they're gonna be, any hindrance to their business or their home or anything. So,
And the requirements are it has to be compacted according to the requirements and things like that. So it'll be fully restored.
thank you.
No other questions? Okay. All in favor of this motion, signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries. Item number 5, a resolution declaring the necessity of an improvement for Street Improvement District 8024, 8th Street Northwest, 9th Street Northwest, 10th Street Northwest, 11th Street Northwest, etc. What's the etc.?
All the roadways west of College Drive and south of 14th Street
Okay.
is the area that we're looking at improving as part of this improvement. The resolution is part of the process that we go through when we're doing street improvement projects. And it's in this particular case, since we're doing a street improvement project, residents on the west side would have the opportunity to protest the project. So as part of this process, we'll be refining our cost estimate for that work and developing the probable assessments. Once the probable assessments are put together, we'll be mailing those to the individual property owners. They'll have the right to review their probable assessment and potentially protest the project if they don't feel it's warranted or worth the money that's being spent. Very similar process what we recently went through with the project over on 17th Street Southeast, 10th Avenue, 8th Avenue, 16th Street Southeast. In that particular case, we didn't receive any protests. Everybody wants the paved roads in that area. And so we go through this process. We haven't had any projects protested at this point, but there could always be a first. The roadways in this particular district they're in dire need of some work. Recommend approval of the resolution.
We have a recommendation.
I recommend approval for resolution for street improvement for district number 80-24.
Commissioner Pierce. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Commissioner Hatch. Any further discussion? None being, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Citizen comment, nothing, nobody turned anything in? Any informational items, nothing? Looking for a motion to approve a payment of bills as submitted.
I'll make a motion to pay the bills.
Commissioner Robbins,
Second.
Commissioner Pierce. Any further discussion? If not, roll call.
Commissioner Hash,
Aye.
Commissioner Robbins,
Aye.
Commissioner Pierce,
Aye.
President Moe.
Aye, motion carries. There's no other business to come before the commission, meeting adjourned.